Yo guys, what's up? So my last video was uploaded pretty late. I'm not sure if it came in sub boxes or something you guys saw. I'm going to leave it on screen right now. If you haven't seen it, I basically go to Jed with claws and try to become Wooks and do my best. I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what to do at raids now. I've done all the mini bosses many times and sort of know the mechanics for most of it. The only thing I'm lacking is max gear here. I'd love to have an Ellie. I'd love to be able to afford some other things. I did actually have enough money now to purchase a Dragon Warhammer, which I felt like was really going to help, especially on the final Olm boss on his right claw, and then also during some of the minigame bosses like Tecton, Vanguards, the stuff where basically I'm going to be using melee. I really wanted to try a solo raids basically because I want to get a Twisted Bow and then never share with anybody and then have 1.3 bill in the bank and never have to worry about cash ever again, so I decided to try one. I ended up doing 2 runs. The first time I didn't manage to actually finish the raid, first off because Olm was just being the worst ever. I'm going to show you guys what happened, and oh man, solo Olm, if you guys don't know, is just extremely painful and makes you want to hurt yourself. It's one of the worst things I've ever experienced. I also forgot a few things on the run. For example, I didn't have an anti-poison. I also didn't have water runes to basically get rid of the fire when Olm throws that fire thing at me. I didn't have ruby bolts from orbital crossbow, which again, I had the blowpipe, which does a lot of the work, but orbital crossbow would have been pretty helpful for some of the bosses. I'm going to show you guys how I did all the different mini bosses and then the final boss Olm solo. I basically came across close to pretty much every room except for Vestibula. I asked on Twitter which bosses I should try to avoid when doing raids, and Vestibula was the outright answer. By the way, my Twitter is on screen right now. If you follow it, you get an Olm pet. I will go over how I did the room solo, but if you guys don't want to see all the rooms and just want to see me complete Olm, then I will leave a link on screen to the time that it happens right now. Trust me, you want to watch the Olm boss fight because you'll laugh. Before I show you guys that though, I did actually get my first raids drop, and that was in my team with a couple of my friends. We managed to get an ancestral hat. So I think that was raids number 15.
Come on, baby, 107 30k. Come on.
Yes, yes, we got something.
Nice. We got garbage, but it's something.
What'd you guys get?
Hat. Oh, it's not that bad actually.
Dude, I'm not even mad. Let's go. Let's go.
It's like
Jerry.
46
Why you so
mil.
lucky, boy?
Thanks for coming, Shan.
Thank you. I finally got my first raise drop, which isn't as bad as the dry streaks as some other people. However, I know some other guys who've had like 3-4 drops in 10 raids so far. But Ancestral Hat, we sold it for 60 mil. So the split was 10 mil each. There was a 6-man. Each of us get 10. By the way, Jerry was in our group. If you guys know Jerry Curve, he's the luckiest kid on the planet. It was his second raid and he gets an Ancestral Hat. So thank you, Jerry, for your luck. But we did get a 10 mil split, which paid for all the supplies I've ever used at raids, plus a bit more profit. So we did get it. So that was really cool. Ancestral Hat. Could have been a lot better. Obviously, we could have been in the hundreds of mils or even in the bills with the prayer scroll or with the twisted bow or with dragon claws, or we could have gotten a dragon sword, which is like 8 mil, or a dragon harpoon, which is like 20. So I'm not complaining about the 60 mil. Could have been more, but you know, I'll take it. It's a drop. For any of you interested in doing a solo raids, one thing that helped me personally, or at least with this setup, is making the pots and everything as soon as possible. So if you get a resource room really early on and you get, let's say, the scavengers really early on, go ahead and plant everything as soon as possible. Make all your brews, make all your overloads, make all your restores, prayer renewals, all that stuff. Catch extra food, put it all in the new bank things that they offer. With the new update yesterday, they came out with the second farming patch, which is amazing, saves a bunch of time. And they also came out with these like bank chests, which depending on your construction level, you can place a certain amount of items in there. Now for me, the basic one was perfect for me. 250 slots was all you need, or all I needed for a solo raid. So I made as many Xerix aids and Xerix revitalizations as possible, as well as like 3-4 overloads and some prayer renewals. I did those ASAP so that I won't have to worry about the rest of the dungeon. Every time I got low, I could just go to a bank chest, which is almost in every other room, and then restock my inventory, and I was set. Also, when I get to the final boss, I'll have all this stuff ready, and I won't have to pretty much remake everything, and I already have them in my bank, which is amazing. So personally for me, the best thing to do was just to make the potions early on, and then I was set for the rest of the dungeon. Now that I think of it, it's probably possible to do raids without overloads. However, it'd be extremely annoying. So if you're looking to solo, I think 90 herblore isn't necessary, but just extremely useful. So let's get to my road from the rooms to the raids boss. So my first run wasn't successful. I just left because first of all, I was going on 3 hours. I was getting really frustrated with the run. Didn't have the correct supplies on me. Didn't have everything I should have. So that was annoying. Also, my dog pooped in my garage. So when I went to clean it up and I came back. I may have accidentally logged out, which may have kicked me out of the raids dungeon. But the second run was a lot better, so we're going to go over that. So anyways, this time I managed to remember to bring the ruby bolts, and I remember to bring the water spells, which basically lets you put out the fires when you're at home, which is extremely useful. Otherwise, you get hit like 60 damage, which is very annoying. So the setup I had, I actually wasn't sure if I should have brought Void. I think apparently Void is pretty good, but I did have the Verax. I did have okay mage bonus and okay range bonus, as well as okay melee bonus, so it's pretty much a pretty basic setup. I did have enough for the Dragon Warhammer this time, which I think really helped. And then I also brought a tinderbox with me, an axe with me, and a pickaxe with me, as well as the rune bag or rune pouch, whatever you call it, with all the runes inside of it. So I was able to complete the raid with this setup, so it's something. First room I had was pretty much the same as always. Every time I went in here, it's always a scavenger with a shortcut, but fortunately this one didn't have a shortcut. Anyways, the first room was just a scavenger for me, which is pretty useful because that means I could instantly, after my supplies were lower, I could drop my supplies, go get some enchanted juices, the mushrooms, the Sicilies, all that stuff to make some potions early on. So it all came down to the first boss, which ended up being the Skeletal Mystics, which are pretty easy. They combo a bit if they double up on you. If you attack one and then another one comes over and they both get on you, you can drain your food pretty quickly. But for the most part, this is a very easy boss if you're soloing. So all you have to do is just pray mage and crossbow or blowpipe them, and you're pretty set. They also usually drop a bunch of seeds early on, which is nice because you don't have to rake for the seeds. So I pretty much had seeds for the rest of the raids dungeon, which is really nice. Got that out of the way early. The next room was also very easy. It was that one where basically you have to kill the mages and then the rangers and then walk across that rope and get the key thing on the other side. This was extremely easy. I only used a couple of food here. All you have to do is pray mage against the mages when they're close to you, and then go to the rangers and range when they're close to you. I didn't use that much food here, like I said, but really useful because it's an easy room and it was good to get out of the way. So the next room was a basically resource room, and this was perfect for me because, as you guys remember, the first room had a scavenger, which was one of the big ones, which drops a bunch of things at once, which was very useful. So now I could focus on making overloads, brews, restores, because I knew there was going to be a couple more tough mini bosses later on, so I had to prep up for those to make sure obviously I didn't die. So I made like 70 brews, 30 restores, I think 4 overloads, and a couple prayer renewals. Since I had all those seeds already, all I needed was to rake them and then plant the seeds and pick them and fill up all those gourds by myself, which is a bit annoying, but it wasn't too long of a process, and it was sort of relieving because, like I said, you get all that stuff done early now, so all you need to focus on now is just killing the bosses. You have all supplies, you got everything you need, and those bank chests, like I said, are extremely useful. You can access your supplies anywhere in the dungeon if you put it in the chest. So let's say you make everything in the second room on the first floor. If you're in the second to last room on the second floor, you can still access them because you're in your bank. They're in your bank chests, which are, man, I can't tell you how much faster raids go because of those. So once I had finished making all of those potions, I went to the next room, which was Lizardmen Shaman. I think there was 2 in there. Ugh, I hate these so much. If you don't have Shazen armor, it's extremely annoying. And the thing is, these guys jump constantly. Like, they love jumping. If you're close to them, they'll jump and you can't attack them when they're in the air. Just very annoying. The Shazen armor, like I said, prevents, I think, most of the poison damage against you. So you're going to be getting hit 30s if you don't have the armor on you, which obviously I didn't have. They're fast to kill with the blowpipe. The thing is, they're in the air constantly, and they spawn those little purple lizard things. It's just an extremely annoying room. I used up a lot of food here, but it's doable. It's definitely possible on a solo raid. There's only 2 if you're solo, but again, very annoying. Just how the room goes, and you just have to pretty much get through it like I did. After the shaman room, that basically was the first floor. Completed it. Was really happy with it. I was worried that I'd have an annoying one later on, which did actually happen, but the first floor was done. I can now refill my energy and all that stuff and move on to the second floor. The first room on the second floor was the mutadile room, which is pretty easy to do. All you have to do is basically cut the meat tree, kill the little crocodile, and then kill the big crocodile. However, I didn't have barrages, so I had that little crocodile constantly on me, dropping down on me, doing damage to me. Again, I had the water spells, so I couldn't exactly bring barrage. I had to sacrifice that for the water spells. Maybe could have done something else like bring snare. I doubt it would have been good. But I had to cut the meat tree and then kill the little croc, and then that big croc came out. I may have died here to a chomp. Just embarrassing.
Oh.
But again, I did get out of the way. The big crocodile is extremely weak to the blowpipe, so I was able to kill it really quickly. You just have to move around and make sure that he doesn't get in melee range, or else he'll chomp you for very high, like I said. So ignore that, and then you'll be fine in this room. So I finished that room. I died once, which was annoying, but I did it. The next room was a scavenger room where another big scavenger was. I could just use that shortcut up at the northern part with my pickaxe and get some extra points, which is nice, but Really nothing special. And then after that, I had the thieving room, which is pretty fast solo. Very annoying though, because you have to bank all your supplies. There you can see that bank chest up there though. All you have to do is just put them all in there, and you're set. But this is just a 15-minute room of constantly picking chests and putting the worms into the guy's thingamabobber where he eats from, so that the room opens. And yeah, it took like 15 minutes, but pretty easy room. I don't really mind this. Some people hate it, but it's just annoying because it takes a little bit longer. But I did it. Anyways, the next room was the Vanguard's room, which I was like, no, oh my god. Everybody was telling me that Vanguards and Vespula are the ones you should not do in a solo raid. But at this point, I was so far into the dungeon that I was just decided I was going to try it. I only actually ended up dying once here, just to a combo, which was annoying. But it actually isn't too bad. This only took me like 10 minutes to complete. If you have Verox here, it will hit through pretty much everything and hits pretty often. So just overload before you go in, have a full inventory of brews, and you should be set here. The only thing, as you guys know, is you have to keep their health the same. So if you hit like a 26 with melee on one and only a 7 on the other, you have to be careful because they can heal up. But for me, they only healed up once. And at one point, actually, I think one of them was at 68% health and the other one was at 82%. And they didn't heal up after moving places. So I'm not sure what that was. Maybe like a 20% difference there. But I don't know. I don't know if it depends on, you know, how many people are in your raid group. Let's say if you're a solo raid, if there's a bigger difference in health that you can leave than if you were in a group of 7. Like if the group of 7, you can have in a range of 10%. If you're solo, like 20%. Not sure if that's how it works, but I got this one done pretty easily. It was, again, I died to a combo, which is annoying, but at least I got it out of the way. And luckily, that was the final boss for the Ulm. So I already had all of my supplies ready for the final boss. I think I actually ended up making a couple more just in case. I don't really remember. But yeah, anyways, first thing I'm going to show you is what happened to me the first time I did Ulm in a solo raid and how frustrating it is. So as you guys know, in the third phase, you have to get both the claws pretty low HP and then kill them both really quickly or else they respawn health. So, oh man, just thinking about this makes my butt clench. I killed the red claw, which was the melee claw, and then I moved my way over to the mage claw, so his right claw, and started killing with mage. So my first attack hit, I was really happy. It has like 1.5% left until I kill it. And then my mage attacks just decide to hit constant zeros. I'm talking like 7 zeros in a row. I'm getting really mad thinking about it.
Are you serious?
So basically when that happens and the other claw, the time runs out, the other claw's health goes back to full and you have to restart the process completely. So I wouldn't mind restarting it since it doesn't take that long, but my very next magic attack after the timer ran out basically killed the right claw, which means that I had no time to kill the other claw, and now both are at full HP. Anyways, let's get back to the successful kill. So I managed to get through the entire kill to the final phase. I think I only died 3 times, 2-3 times between the first phase and the final phase, which I was okay with. Fortunately, in the final phase, I am so bad at dodging all the following things. Like, I'm just terrible at it, and I feel like they hit you even if they're 50 squares away. Which is, it's just frustrating, this final phase. But I did die a couple times during the final phase, which was annoying. I actually ran in because there was only like 6% left without any food the final time, but luckily I managed to kill it. But I went down from like 10k points to like 4k points, which obviously demolished my chance of getting any loot. But I did it. I completed solo raids, and my final time was under 2 hours. It was like an hour 56-minute raid, which I'm pretty happy with, man. A sub 2-hour raid. The very first day, our first raid was like 3.5 hours. So I can say I'm better than 6 people on the first day of the raids release. Not bad, right? Anyways, yeah, we did it. It was a pretty cool raid. I will definitely be doing more solo raids just to practice. I basically need to practice the final boss again. I need to get better gear. As much as I love my DFS, I think I maybe need to upgrade to an arcane, make a bit of money, and maybe try out some new different setups and see how they work out for me. But in terms of my loot, it was 102 death runes and 154 saltpeter, so a solid 53k for a solid 4k points. But yeah, we did it. Solo raids, I'm pretty happy with it. If you guys have done a solo raids, let me know your time and if you got any loot. I actually want to do more solo raids, even though they take a bunch of time, just to beat my time. And then if you get a solo drop, it's all yours, man. That's awesome. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys all for watching. If you did enjoy it, make sure to drop a like, and I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow for the next video. Anyways, have a good one, and peace.